Uh, Hello, everyone. I am Charlie Caper from Furhat Robotics, and today I will talk a bit about social robots and their current and potential use cases. So, a social robot is a robot that you can communicate with the same way you would communicate with a human. So it can see, speak, hear and understand language, and detect and express emotion. So you can walk up to a Furhat and it can see that you're there, look you in the eye, and say hello. If you smile, it can see that and smile back at you. If another person shows up, it can see them too, and it's able to keep track of many different people separately. So it's got this great awareness of its surroundings. And that's pretty cool technology. I think we can all agree. But why social robots? What is the point of this? So imagine you're at a train station in Rome, let's say, and you want to go to a famous museum. So currently, you would maybe take out your phone. You can't find a person to ask. So you would take out your phone and search for where this museum is. And then you would open up the page for the transport authorities there, find out how to get there, translate that into your language, uh, and then look around for the bus station and go there and take the bus, right? Or if there is a social robot there, you can just ask, "Excuse me, how do I get to this famous museum?" And the robot will say, "Oh, you can take bus number 18 from the bus stop over there." So it's a lot simpler. And it will also be able to know different restaurants in the area and all kinds of information. And it might be able to speak your language. So a social robot in a situation like that will be able to answer simple questions. It can collaborate with staff because quite often it will know things that maybe the other information staff doesn't. So it will not really replace humans, but more enhance and expand what they're doing. And it will be able to use data like online. So it will know all the buses where they go. It will know every single train, when it goes, what time it goes, if it's canceled or not. And it might also have access to recommendations for different places and things like that. There are many, many different kinds of use cases for a social robot, and we are far from having found all of them. But this, for instance, is from a project with Deutsche Bahn to create an information point in different languages for airports and train stations in understaffed locations. And here is from their project in Japan. And this is a project we did with healthcare giant Merck to create a medical screener that could screen for commonly undiagnosed diseases. Here we have a company called Tengai, a Swedish company that specializes in unbiased recruitment. And they have used our robot for more than 2,000 real life interviews. So, a pretty high stakes real world situation. And we worked with the legendary Japanese gaming company Bandai Namco to bring one of their animated manga characters to life in places such as theme parks. And this is one of my favorites. It's really, really expressive. The expressions look so good. I really love this one. There's also other use cases like autism therapy, for instance, which is really fascinating because some kids on the spectrum can enjoy an interaction with a robot that would be overwhelming with a human. So it can be a really great way to practice basic social skills. It's also use cases in education, retail, as a backup to a receptionist. And the fact the robot can speak a multitude of languages also makes it great for use cases in tourism. There's Furhats in multiple museums around the world.
Okay, I see the value of just talking with technology. But why does there need to be a robot? Why not just a voice assistant?
That is a good question. And in some cases, a voice agent will work just fine. And in other cases, a robot is far better. In between those, you can imagine an animation of a character on a screen. All of these will exist in different situations. Even we at Furhat have a virtual version of our robot, which is perfectly fine to interact with, but we only use it for development and not for real world use cases because we can see how much better people interact with the physical robot.
What? No one told me this.
Sorry, but it is true. Uh, why is this the case? Why is it better if it's physical? And to start with, there's the simple fact that people intuitively feel that something can see if it has eyes and speak if it has a mouth. Um, we don't naturally approach a puck and start speaking with it, but a robot, it's very approachable. Research shows a robot is much more engaging both cognitively and emotionally than a character on a screen, which isn't strange. There's something special about being in a room together. I think we have all experienced during the pandemic to only being able to communicate with our loved ones through a screen. And at least to me, it's painfully apparent that it's not the same thing. I really wish right now that we could show you our robot physically because it is a different experience and it is much better. But for now, we have to do with this screen communication. Human social interaction is a really complex interplay. The intonation of your voice, your facial expressions, your body language, the position of your head, where your eyes are looking, all affect the meaning of what is being said, who it is said to, when to speak and when to listen, the whole flow of the conversation. And for obvious reasons, those aspects of communication are vastly improved with a robot because you need a face and at least a head to convey it. Facial expressions also enable nuance, contrast, and humor. So I will now finish by speaking a little bit about, for instance, how social robots could be used in retail situation. And I think they could be used to start with to answer simple questions. Where is the milk? How much is this? Uh, do you have this jacket in blue? And they could integrate with any encode reader, so you can blip the thing you want to ask about, and the robot will know everything about that thing. And there is something really great about having something that can answer these simple questions, and it can really offload the human staff. Let's say you are uh, waiting in a queue. I mean, I think we've all been through this. You're standing in the queue and you need to accomplish something. Maybe you just want to ask where the socks are, and in front of you is a person who wants to return something they bought 3 weeks ago, and they've lost the receipt. So they're there, and that's going to take 10, 15 minutes to do that thing. And you just have this very simple errand that you want to accomplish. And it's really frustrating to stand in the queue and wait for this long thing when you just want to say, hey, where are the socks? And go there. So for that kind of situation, it would be really great if there was a social robot there. They can really expand the service. And they have access to all the data about things in the store. You can maybe ask where things are made. Anything that the company has a database of, the robot will know about that item. Also, it can really make retail more accessible. Retail is really getting high tech. Like 10, 15 years ago, we got these unmanned checkout lanes in Sweden where there's no person. You blip your things you want to buy and you pay with your credit card and you walk out. And now we're getting unmanned stores where there's not even a human inside. And this can be really tricky for like the elderly and tourists that are not used to it. And it's incredibly enabling for them to have a social robot there um, to help them bridge that gap into the high tech, to be able to just ask the robot, how does this work? And the robot say, well, You scan your credit card here, and then you take the things you want to buy, and you walk out. Really? Is that how it works? Yeah, yeah, that's how it works. Because for many people, it's not a simple situation. Uh, it also means you can collect better data with a social robot. I have many times in my life or been in a situation where there's something in a store I want to pass up higher up into the chain. Let's say a staff member is really good and I would like someone to know. They help me really well. Or there's an item that I really think they should stock because that's what the shop does and they should have that item. And if you tell an employee, they I'm pretty sure that information never goes up the chain. But if you tell a social robot, I want to send this up, it will come up there, and um, the company will be able to access that information in a way that's kind of overviewable. It also enables A/B testing of things. Like the robot could give a piece of information in two different ways, and it could be possible to measure which way was the most effective. The fact that the robot can speak many languages also makes it, I mean, a Furhat can speak 35 languages out of the box if you program it to do that. And it really makes it great for places like duty free or city center where there's a lot of tourists and people that maybe don't speak the language of the country that you're in. It also enables instant information sharing. Mm, if you want to send that information to all the human employees in a chain of stores, that can be really complex. But if one robot learns something, they can all know it immediately. You can pass that information to the robots in a matter of seconds, and they all know it in every single store. And I think that can be quite a useful thing. And then there's the other uses for the robot. A little while back, we experimented with building a robot head into a mannequin. And you can imagine a talking mannequin in a store. It's wearing the clothes. You can ask it about the clothes. Do you have that jacket in red? Where is the trousers made? Are they using environmental cotton? And the mannequin will be able to answer those questions. That's quite a fun, interesting use case of a social robot. Uh, so, what are we waiting for to get more robots out in our world? And I would say we were waiting for the technology to mature. 5 or 10 years ago, maybe a lot of these use cases would not be possible. But this technology is working now, and it will get even better in the coming years. So we're mainly waiting for larger companies to take the first step and roll this out in their companies. So it's a real opportunity for early adopters to step in and be early in on this. Robots such as Furhat are already being deployed around the world, and there is no doubt that our society will include social robots in some shape or form going forward. But we're still at an early stage, and the next 5 or 10 years will really set the path for how humans and robots will exist together. And you folks listening to this, and also us at this company, we have an opportunity to shape what that future of robots and humans will look like. And I don't know about you, but to me, that's pretty exciting.